Awesome. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining to our session today. My name is Fernando Cardoso. I'm a solutions architect for Trend Micro. It's a global cybersecurity company, right? And I just would like to be talking to you today about the benefits of continuous security and compliance for cloud infrastructure, right? So let's get started. When we talk about cloud, right, most of the time there is these three major cloud strategies, right? The first one is what we call cloud migration, right? And cloud migration is just like the lift and shift. It's getting the regular virtual machine, physical servers, and migrate to the cloud. A lot of companies also, they use the monolithic application that they have in their data center, right, and migrate to the cloud workloads. The second step, and it's very, very important, and a lot of companies right now, they are applying those specific aspects, right, from fintechs, startups, and the companies that they are trying to innovate with their applications. It's what we call cloud native applications. And when we start to talk about cloud native application, we start to talk about containers, serverless, cloud storage, and all those type of things. It's another important aspect about the cloud native application is the breaking down of the monolithic application to microservice. They start breaking down those applications. They start using containers, serverless, and a couple other native applications, right? And this is the second and the most important, I think, in the three major strategies. The other one that a lot of people don't talk about, it is the governance and operational excellence. And in this specific point, it is important to remember the governance and excellence, right? They are making sure you are following the best practice, you are applying the compliance that your company needs, you are removing the security risk in the early stage, you are trying to get the better performance in operation from the applications, right? And if you go a little bit more in deep in the cloud operation excellence, right? We see this regular pipeline. And this pipeline could be used by the regular applications with the DevOps applications or for infrastructure as a code. A lot of people always mention the DevOps pipelines, but I started seeing a couple of companies using different pipelines, one for applications and one for infrastructure. Let's talk a little bit more in this specific case about the infrastructure, right? There is a couple examples that I put here, but one of the important ones that I would like to bring it up, it is the many teams using cloud service, right? So many business units, they are innovating, they are trying to create the new applications, and they are migrating and using cloud native applications, right? The other important aspect on that, it is the lack of visibility, right? For example, when business units starting creating those applications in the cloud, they start losing some kind of visibility of those applications because they don't have the same way to monitoring those applications that they have before in the data center. And it's important also to provide the compliance that so many companies request, right? The first case here would be the misconfiguration for cloud formation templates, right? A lot of people forget or they don't have the usual a scanning process or template scanner for the cloud formation before they build in production environment, right? A couple other cases would be cross-account access to the repository. Sometimes they have the permission open to the internet or open to the public. Or some other, for example, applications are accessing the repository and they should not, right? They have the YAML rule applied for the wrong service. The other use case could be the open storage to the internet, like S3 buckets. It's a good example, right? People sometimes make some specific mistakes or misconfiguration in the S3 buckets. And the last one that I would like to bring is the key rotation. Some compliance, they request you to rotate your keys every 30 days or every 60 or 90 days, right? It depends which specific compliance you are following or your company requests. One of the important aspects when you start to talk about infrastructure as a code, back in the day, for you to create a server, takes forever, right? For example, you need to request the server, you need to put that in the hack, you need to install the operation system, you need to install the applications, and that could take between days to weeks or to months, right? Depends how much work like for you to buy those servers in your company. I saw specifically cases in big financial service, right, where they takes like months to just create like a new server in their data center. But the infrastructure as a code is very important because make it like much easier for companies to start creating their infrastructure with like a simple template file. They can recreate, they can make it repeatable, they can control, they can make like specifically change in their teams, right? And I would like to bring like the three major points why infrastructure as a code is growing so fast right now in the market, right? The first one is the speed. For example, back in the day, it's like a month to create like a virtual machine, but right now it's like seconds or it could be like minutes, right? The second is important aspect is the control. Because a template, CloudFormation templates or ARM templates or Terraform templates, they are the regular text files, right? And you can save those files in the Git repository. And in the Git repository, you can enable the versioning process, who changed specifically files, what was the change, and a couple other controls that you can get from the Git repository today. It's a very important aspect, right? The third one is the consistency, right? And the consistency is this can make it much more repeatable, right? For example, you don't have the problem of like a human error or somebody that gets like back into the company after like a long day, right? And they are pretty tired and they start making like some mistakes in the configuration. No, you are being based in the template, and that template can be repeatable like multiple times without changing the environment, right? This is three important aspects. And when we talk about with customers, they bring to us like couple use cases about their challenge, right? The first use case of the challenge when they are using infrastructure as a code is like the migration of like regulated applications or regulated workloads. For example, imagine you have a PCI DSS application in your data center and you want to migrate that to the cloud, right? It's like sometimes can be a little bit tricky, a little bit hard. But for example, if you are using the properly configured solutions for that, it's like much easier than you think, right? That's one point. Large environment visibility. Every single company right now, they have what they call business units, right? And they have the development teams, they have the DevOps teams, they have a lot of different engineering teams to build those applications, right? And most of the time, these like business units, they have like one or more cloud accounts. Could be like in AWS, GCP, Azure, or any other cloud provider, right? And they are being based not just like in one cloud service, they are being based in like many cloud services. Could be like S3 buckets, could be like a Lambda functions, could be like any serverless in any cloud provider, and so on, right? And one important aspect about that, like you have a large environment, a large number of like AWS or cloud accounts, and how you make sure you are following the best practice that you define internally and externally. Like for example, AWS Well Architect Framework, CIS Benchmark, Azure Well Architect, and so many other best practice frameworks that they have in the market right now. The other important aspect is the continuous compliance. If you have your regulated application and you want to migrate to the cloud, you have a specific thing that a lot of people forget is the shared responsibility, right? For example, when you go to the cloud providers, there is a shared responsibility where they show you what is the responsibility from the provider and what is your responsibility as a customer to make sure your application and your data are running with the PCI DSS compliance, HIPAA compliance, ISO 27000 compliance, and so many others, right? It's important to always look for those 4 challenges that like a lot of customers are having today. And if we go a little bit more in micro like details here, like this is the top 5 configuration fails, right? Based on the customer challenge. And if you see here, the first one, storage access. Second one, secret management for the keys, right? A lot of systems with like a disable monitoring or disable logging in the systems. you have overly permissive access to hosts, containers, and virtual machines. And the last one is the lack of validation. It is very important not just like validate your production environment, but validate also your infrastructure as a code before you build those environments, right? And if you see here in the Gartner, through 2023, 99% of the cloud security fails will be because the customer faults. It's important to remember that through 2024, organizations will be using CSPM as a way to fix those misconfigurations problems in the cloud. And this is why Trend Micro bought like a cloud conformity last year, and we rebrand as a Cloud One conformity. This is a cloud security platform to help to bridge the gaps between security teams and DevOps teams, right? The regular CSPM's technologies, they only see in the runtime, right, and the monitoring the production environment, but we also can bring in shift left security for the commitment, the development side, and the CI/CD tool side, for example. And this is a couple other additional features that we have with Cloud One Conformity. First one, we have over 600 rules checks in conformity platform today. We do like over 500 million daily best practice checks in our platform. We have a real-time security monitoring, and we also provide like 12 global templates for customers like a PCI DSS, HIPAA compliance, ISO 27001, and so many other templates, okay? And here it's like the full infrastructure as a code pipeline where you can see we can deliver like a specifically security plugin for your IDE with VS Code and give you feedback in real time for the developers. And this can help you to be seamless, right? Could be like much simple to deliver security in the development side instead to go and start enforcing them to use the specific tools. This is a plugin that they can use in the VS Code, and they are like daily technology that they use every single day to build infrastructure as a code, to build the new applications, right? The second step is the template scanner, and we use the API to communicate like our platform to scan every single cloud formation before you create those environments. We also deliver GitHub Actions integration, where you can see in our portal, you can see in the GitHub Marketplace, right? And the last piece is like the integration with continuous support ticketing systems and communication technologies like Microsoft Teams, Slack. And if we detect specifically changes in production environment and in real time, also, we can create specifically tickets for ServiceNow, Jira, PagerDuty, Zendesk, and so many other technologies, okay? The second piece here is like I mentioned, the IDE integration, right? You can use the QR code and go to the VS Code Marketplace, download that, and start using pretty fast. Just registry in our conformity portal is free for 14 days, and you can scan in your cloud formation like this way. The image in the left, it is a regular cloud formation, and the image in the right is the template scanning report that we can provide. We give like a little summary, the detection, the risk levels, and the link to our knowledge base. Check out that. I think it will be very helpful. Okay. Couple more informations that you can see in that specifically link. It is some kind of like details about the audit, how you can audit through the CLI and through the interface, and also how you can make the remediation. It is a very important aspect. Okay. I think I'm on time. I just would like to say thank you very much for joining this session. I know it was pretty fast and a lot of information. Please reach me out in the LinkedIn, Medium, email, or Twitter. I also provide my virtual card that you can reach me to the email, and I can help you with some questions that you have or concerns, okay? Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed the DevSecOps 24 today.